Hi, good evening to everybody. We'll just quickly start the stream. Just give me a minute. Thank you all for joining. Meantime, thank you for joining. Give me a second. Yeah. So this is in the sequence of a couple of webinars that we have already done. We're just adding few more to it, where we will be showcasing. We did talk about the frameworks. We did talk about the technology. We did talk about the approach. The important part that we are covering this time is I just wanted to show you what exactly it looks like the end result, because we have covered in the last two webinars like how the process will be. This webinar is more focused on. I just wanted to show you like what exactly on a say on a ERP end-to-end system, end-to-end process when we automate, how exactly it looks like. So before that, I'll just give you a small briefing. Just want to give a small briefing about like what exactly we do and what exactly is the agenda today. Having said that, we are Silotec. We are one of the pioneers when it comes to the digital transformation. We do a lot of as a quoted technology-driven transformation based out of US, headquartered in US. I have a big competency in India back there, where we work a lot of all these technology products are coming out of that shop. CMMI level 3 certified and simultaneously ISO 27001 and 9001 certified. And it shows up in our product, in our delivery, in our approach, in our project management, everything. A lot of things that we've been doing, I'll say like just trying to fit them in a single screen. This is how we look like. Industry focus is more in the manufacturing and financials domain of it, high-tech engineering, equipment manufacturing, electronics, very strong on the electronic material manufacturing, the high-end industrial manufacturing and the automotive. Something on the solutions that we will be introducing those solutions in the coming webinars. Something on the shop floor, typical shop floor, the challenges that they face. AP automation, very interesting one, very sophisticated, a lot of AI and ML in it. Test automation, this is one of the sequence of the webinars that we're talking about, the test automation. Data sciences, that's inevitable. Where there is data, there has to be sciences, and that's what we bring in our solutions. And we talk about integrations, of course. That's the backbone of the digital transformation, because you cannot just do a transformation in a single application. It has to be an integration. So we revisit the integration part. Apart from the implementations and the AMSs that we do across ERPs and as well as on the different applications, a lot of platforms and IPs that we hold, which are listed over there. Something coming over to the topic, a very interesting one, very close to me, because I've been working on this thing with the team on specifically on this one, and we try to educate the customer as much as possible. Though testing has been there for long, but having said that, what I believe is the whole test platform or the way we look at the testing needs to revisit, because a lot of cloud, a lot of applications, a lot of integrations, everything, right? So now the testing for me, when it comes to when I'm talking about ERP, is no more just the technical scripting part of it. It's more of something close to the domain, something close to the vertical, something close to the product, and then the technology comes in. So you will see in the course, like I'll show you a couple of interesting ones where we'll see the demos. So as I said, the thought process or the testing when it comes to ERP is because, as I said, it's close to the domain, vertical, and the product. You have to own it, because even if you are having seamless and you are having things are going fine, it's like there can be a bad day. So we have to avoid that bad day. So there has to be preparation. That risk we have to cover as a part of this thing. So the use case that I always talk about is the complexity, the tight integration coupled with multiple applications, including ERP. So that's for me a business flow when it comes to manufacturing is not just the processes within ERP, but it might say order management. It starts with a PCF. I mean, the configurator gets into this thing, gets into your ERP, goes to the MES, then get to the freight across. So doing all this thing manually, making sure like things are working end to end, it takes a lot of effort. And if it's done manually, there is a scope of error. So I'm just saying, I'm just addressing that part of error, saying that you should automate it the end to end. As simple as that. Again, the LN part, what we have invested personally on the processes, I'll say like from the ERP standpoint, the key takeaways or a key area of investment is the regressions. Regression means the end-to-end cases. That's where the value comes in. You just need to run your business processes end-to-end and look into it, say like, okay, fine. Everything is working seamless, everything is error-free, and I don't have a risk. And you don't need to look at each and every script for the testing part of it. Yes, gradually, once you mature this process of regression, obviously, the next opportunity is to get into those part of it where you can get into the CI/CD, the continuous integrations, and that part of it. But having said that, what is my critical process? Is it order management, saying the sales process? Is it something, because from the sales you connect to the manufacturing, because how exactly from a manufacturing entity standpoint, where is your focus? Is it on the how exactly you feed your manufacturing orders? Is it coming from a planning engine? Is it coming based on the order, based on your the way you perform? It can be, if it's a make to order, it has to come from the sales orders. Similarly, procure to pay, again, it has to be streamlined, because an avoidable error or a problem that comes in, it actually creates a lot of chaos with your supplier fraternity. And just to mention over here, like anytime you have any questions, just push it onto this thing. We'll respond. I have a Q&A section at the end, which I have dedicated for this. Just shoot out your messages. I'll respond to it immediately. And as I said, like there are a lot of, this process continues. I'll say like those 4 that I've listed over there. This is just not just a regression. It's a if I look at the steps, it could go into like 250 to 300 steps. That's how I look at. And processes, it could be a number of processes across. Similarly, we have invested on EAM. Again, the part here is, if you look at the earlier slide and this one, if you look at it, the important part that we are talking about for the test automation is it's easy, it's cost effective, because you don't need to invest on the licenses, because what we are talking about from the framework is an open source Selenium based, which is very easily adaptable, because, and we have proven, means you can see those scripts. I'll be showing you how exactly they work out in this session. So that's the reason, the key challenge that comes with Selenium is like it works only on the web browsers, the latest ones. So we have to have those applications which are supporting the Selenium to be there. Don't expect the legacy old systems. They also work on it. Though we have done that part, that automation as well, using different tools, because as a testing, we don't stick to one tool or one framework. We have to put in multiple frameworks so that the end result is seamless. That's how I look at. And so we even cover those customized. So right now, the pre-built scripts that are listed over here, these are primarily on the standard product of LN. The customized, obviously, you would have customized. So customizations part, obviously, we'll tweak them and make it comply. And the approach, which this slide has been there on the last 3 sessions, simple: hire a partner. Your end, when you hire a partner who has a domain, who has a product or the application, and should have that, because testing is not the unit testing is not the final testing. There is a dedicated testing. There is a change management that gets into it. And the next approach is, since we are not aware, just to be confirmed about that that the whole application suite goes well, is complacent, like do a POC, a small POC, identify a critical process, so that this partner whom you hire gets into your system, looks into the background of it, what kind of technology. The thing is, this testing framework, when I talk about on the web browser, it then identifies those fields and inputs the values into it, process as a manual effort somebody would have put. So if I talk about this thing, I'll select do a POC, a small one, identify your critical application, establish, since you are not doing it just for one time, establish a strong change management protocols, like how exactly going further, this particular testing will play a critical role in your complete life cycle of promoting a patch or a fix into your production. So the change management protocols are very critical. Then the next part is, as I said, target to automate your risk processes. That's where you should start. Don't say like I want to do for everything, because the adoption is very important. Because if you don't adopt, it can lead into a lot of challenges, which might take a lot of time to actually avoid. Then once you automate the high risk processes, now the next task, as mentioned, is regularize the execution and schedule it, so that you know that when should you execute these processes, like the click of a button, or you automate it and say like it should happen monthly or bi-weekly or quarterly when you have a bigger release. So that's the timeline that we're talking. That's the timeline based on our experiences that we're talking, like this is how we do it, and this is where we see success, right? So quickly what I'll do is, if you have any questions, you can just raise it to me. Same time, what I can do is quickly I will showcase to you some real interesting use cases where I have I'll show you something on the ERP LN. Quickly, just let me pause this. If you have any questions, do post it on this thing. We will respond to it immediately. Okay. I'm just sharing my screen. Give me a second. I'm just sharing my screen. Right. 1 second. So as I will show, like I'm just trying to show you a couple of demos. This particular application that we're talking about. I bet you can see my screen. I've shared my screen. So this is something that I'm showing, which we have done for one of our customer, where it's talking to, it's within the LN system, and there is a MES system that we're talking to, where how exactly a manufacturing order goes across from one from LN, gets processed over there, and just flows in and out, right? Yep. So quickly, I'll start this. I'll play this. Just have a look at it. This is all, like, if you can see, like this is all run by built on Selenium. This is on LN 10.4 that we are running in. So this is the process where we create those purchase or those production orders, and how exactly it works. So this is, as I said, like it looks so automated, because right now, and the thing is, how exactly this video came in is like we create evidences at the end of every testing, successful testing. There is a evidence that gets created, and this evidence is what we talk about. We show, we prove that the test was a successful run, right? So this is so if you look at it, the latency and all are being taken care of, and the thing is, like a lot of data gets processed, a lot of exceptions are there, assertions are there, which we address, because end of it, as a tester, if I put myself into the tester's shoes, like what exactly I'll be looking at it, every screen I'll validate against an expected outcome, and this is the outcome that I'm anticipating. If it matches my my expectations, I'll select this is wonderful. Now, if you're seeing a MES system that we're talking, where it's a supervisor's queue where he will be looking for the production order, right? So see that the integration, we just created an order and we are waiting for the order to come over here. So the value that the production order that got created in LN is being carried forward to this new application. So we just need to wait for that integration, possibly a couple of times. It takes some time. So it keeps querying till you find it. That's the beauty of this application. And once it finds the application, once the order, now the process starts, which is completely independent of the LN, because you have the order here. And the next process is like how exactly it works out. So something on the framework. Give me a second. It just like because there was a brief pause over there, right? So we were just checking that. So we just have to wait. So from the supervisor, we just went logged into the operators queue. So you see, like, this is how the steps have been defined, the whole end-to-end part of it, like how exactly it works out on the supervisor part, and then it goes to the operator, how is it assigned, the quantities are loaded, the traceability part is being generated, right? So this is all being done by a I'll say, like, I call it a bot, but it's a Selenium bot. It's not those the RPA. Yes, RPAs also can be achieved, but testing is different from automation. We are not talking about the process automation. This is more of a testing. Right. So this particular application is another very interesting application to establish the traceability and the transparency within a shop floor. Right. So you're seeing, like, the values that are being picked. These are all values that are being fed, and it's all maintained backend, where we know that, like, what exactly value has to go from one from the of one particular session to another session. So that kind of values are all being captured, and end of it, the result, it's very amazing. A video like this as a evidence, anybody can look into it and acknowledge that the run was successful. And these videos, actually, as a part of the framework, in the last session, last session, we did show, like, where exactly they are actually maintained. So these videos, like, if you really need, say, regression, you don't run it overnight or couple of, like, with an interval of couple of days. So the importance of these videos is very critical when you really want to see, or it can be education wise, or it can be, as I said, like, I call it evidence, from the standpoint of evidence, like, you know that the whole process that running end to end seamlessly. And you see, like, the length of this whole video. I'll say, like, for us as a functional guy, this whole thing is end to end, where I'm creating a production order, and I'm going back and I'm looking into I'm going, like, so for me, the thing is, like, if I sit down, I need to, if as an IT manager I'm talking, if the thing is, like, I'm creating an order in LN, then I need to have that knowledge of the MES system or the access of it. And then the thing is, like, then, yeah, it's still running. So what happens is, in a typical part of it, like, I might need to put in 2 to 3 experts who can actually validate and give me the result. But in this case, it's just a single bot or a automation that we have put in place, which actually checks the end-to-end part of it and gives me the result that it was success, right? So what I'm saying is, like, this is where the value of automation comes in. I'll be showing a couple of other videos also. And meantime, like, let me go back. So this is one of the, as I said, integration part that we're talking this thing for which we did for an electronic manufacturer. Right, I'll just close this video and go back to my thing. I just wanted to show you something on the Excel sheet that we prepare. This is the input. Okay, now if you see if this particular data set, I'll talk about the test flow that we prepare, a very extensive one. If you just look like this kind of test flows that we prepare, where end-to-end part of it, where we maintain, you look at it like the test IDs, like what exactly are the actions or the navigation screens, the actual results, the paths, or like how exactly we should capture. So this is more of the planning part of it, and then it gets into like number of lines where we try to cover as much as possible in the information so that it's readable. It's not like it should be validated by the functional people. Say if you just look into this thing, release outbound advice, as this process is automated, it will automatically execute. Once the outbound advice is executed, release out, it's not printed, so it's a fail. So what I'm saying is, like, you identify what is pass and what is fail, so this kind of planning, and the data that gets captured, because end of it, how exactly as a functional tester I would do is, like, I'll maintain an input data, couple of fields, very important essential fields. So this one we're talking about from the sales order information. So what I'll do is, like, I need a BP, sold to BP. I need an order type, which is very essential for the steps. Then the order series. Then I maintain the dates, the currency, the item. These are the things that I'll be inputting, because when I'm creating a sales order, these are the essential fields that I need to fill in, because not everything is automated. Even if it's automated, I need to validate them. Then the order quantity, the price, right? Because it has to be automated. Then from there onwards, what happens is I start capturing the information, whether it's executing or not. See, this is where this Excel sheet plays a very critical role for me in identifying the output based or the outcome based automation. Now, what happens is, now here, if you look at this print sales order, release order, the process PDSO, then the sales order finalization. So these are the steps. These gets captured when we are actually executing the steps. And then after that, the other important, and the thing is, like, from your customization standpoint, there will be a lot of other fields that you where say the thing is, like, when I'm creating a sales order, initially in the input data there won't be a sales order number, because we just be having only the first free number. Now the sales order gets generated, and the line number comes in. Then I know, like, which item is sitting over there, and the quantity, because I need to capture what I'm inputting versus what exactly is running in the screen, right? So, and the thing, what item price is being worked, the item, which company that I logged in, the shipment IDs, and it goes on, like, a lot of information that I need to capture, like, even to the extent, like, I even capture, like, what kind of information gets into the finance part of it, or in your finance, and what kind of accounts it being hit, like what kind of debit, what kind of credit accounts, what kind of warehouse, the price list, the item cost, what is being generated, the manufacturing order, if say it was going into the manufacturing, what kind of what was the manufacturing order, then the respective the debits and the credits, the invoice, like, say end of it, the invoice gets generated. So what exactly is the invoice that we're talking about that gets generated, the ship to, bill to, and I'll say, like, you can capture all the information. And this is the sheet that gets we provide as a outcome alongside the evidence. This is the sheet that we provide to the functional person to give a sign off. Functional person, your end user. So he doesn't need to spend time in building all things. So there is that we work upon, like, when it comes to this input data. So there are some prerequisites that we set, because some exceptions that we have to clear, make sure they're very much, they don't hamper the automation part. Say for example, customer side of it, there shouldn't be any credit locks there from the business partner side. The sold to and the ship to should not be blocked, right? The item, there should be sufficient inventory available. Say if you're doing some make to stock scenario, that you're doing that. Say if the inventory is not there, and if you're running a make to stock scenario, it will fail, obviously, because it's not built. It expects inventory to be there in the warehouse. So that's how the process runs. Like, I'll just show you one of the other demos from the purchase order standpoint. So a short one. from the sales order standpoint, sorry. So this is one of the sales order processes. Now this is we're doing on 10.6. This one that I'm showing you. This is again the test processes. So sometimes it takes some time to load, but doesn't matter. It will wait. The system waits for it because the latency could be because of n different reasons, right? You can just apologize because we as a channel partner we get this access, which has limited licenses. Now you see the beauty of it. Like this is what I would do if I'm sitting on a screen. Now it's running, executing that part, right? It's just going to the workbench, give the details. Now the details that are being input, it's more from the Excel sheet that we're talking, the input that we're talking. So it's not that Excel sheet that I showed, that was just a sample one. What I'm talking from here is this is a Excel sheet like that is sitting behind it, from where it's picking the data and pushing the information. Now the moment I enter the business partner, there are a lot of fields that get populated by default. The order type is something that I have to fill, and that's what comes from the Excel sheet. So I'm not maintaining the sales office and all, right? So if I have something planned delivery date, right? If something specific is right, it will be picked. I need to maintain over there, and that's what we'll be maintaining in our this thing. So you see, like and this whole process that I'm talking works offline. I don't need to monitor it. It works offline in the sense it doesn't have to be in the working hours. I just need to dedicate a couple of users with all the privileges. That's important, because it should not be if at all you have multiple users that you can provide with the right roles and responsibilities, so that there is no conflict. That works. But otherwise, since we are checking the processes are fine, my ERP is going good, end-to-end part of it. It's like that's what I need. What I need to do is like super user access, where that particular super user can execute the entire flow. And I advocate the part that, like, with the cloud that coming into play, this is something very essential, because you have the ownership of the infrastructure, but what you own is a business process. So you need to ensure that your business processes are running seamlessly every time, right? So for you, this can be a gatekeeper kind of thing, where just at a click of a button, it executes and gives you a result, which can be validated. The next day morning, the information will be shared back to the principal SME, who can actually look in this thing and give you approval within no time. And if you see, this particular process is again like 6 minutes. But what I'm saying is, because it's an automation, it's 6 minutes. But otherwise, if it's done manually, it will take some 10 times more, 10 to 20 times more time, because you need to maintain a lot of information. You have to see the accuracy, and you need to have a lot of privileges that you need to maintain. The compliance side of it, governance side of GRC comes into play, right? So not everybody gets a super user access, but since it's a bot and we have compliant, so it should be okay. Now here you can see the order type. A normal sales order processes, what we talk here, right? It executes, say, even the printouts that come out of it. Usually we give the display, right? D. But yes, if you want, you can take the printouts also, like. And this all works, as I said, offline. That's where the beauty comes. Offline in the sense it can work. You can just schedule it, leave for the day, end of the, like, next day morning, you have the results on your desk. I mean, in your Outlook as an email. So this is like, I just wanted to share, this is for one of the customers that we're doing. It was like the scenario was order to cash, but having said that, order to cash, the sales order process, it's not that simple. Like it differs partner to partner, means the business partner, it differs from item that you're choosing, because it takes different workflows, different approvals, different systems that it goes into. So what happens is that the challenge that we get is, uh, there are multiple scenarios, like say country to country. If you say like my standard process is a particular 10 steps or 20 steps or 30 steps, now these 30 steps change from system to system and company to company, because maybe say you are a global company and you have operations in Italy, you have Germany, you have in Thailand, you have China. Every country will have its own different ways and means of doing it. There could be some localization flavor that comes into play, for which we need to modify. But end of it, yes, these processes, what we do is we create a batch file, which what we do is we usually use an Excel, where we maintain those batch files, where it gives you, like, it helps you trigger those actions, schedule those actions, and manage the what exactly has to run. So this kind of batches can be executed in the night time, as I said, and it's very easy. It's not, it looks very tricky, but very easy to manage and execute. A little longer one, I really wanted to show this part, because an end-to-end, how exactly it looks like. Like right now, we're working on the delivery part from the warehouse. So this is like, I think this is 10.5, I believe, 10.5 instance, yeah. So it keeps track of those activities that are as per the order type. And similarly, as I said, when the Excel sheet that you saw earlier, I'll just refer to that one. There are a lot of fields, which are the values which are not there on the screen, but we need to fetch it to create a better evidence from the Excel sheet standpoint. So what we do is we pull the data from maybe from the other sessions, or maybe on the background, or maybe from the back from the database. So we can query and pull that thing, so that the end result in the Excel sheet is 100% foolproof. I mean, and it's 100% making meaningful for a sign off saying that yes, the particular patch can be promoted because it doesn't create any challenges for me in executing. And it doesn't matter where your server is, whether it's on premise or on cloud. It just that, like, irrespective of that, like, you just be like, even if it's on cloud, we'll be opening on your browser, right? So we just need a user ID and the browser access. The next step is PDSO. So what I'm saying is, like, it's worth actually giving it a try, like putting it. It doesn't matter whether your operations are complex, or it doesn't matter like whether you have small or a big. You have a ERP, you need to have a test automation. Simple. It's as simple as that. Because, as I say, a bad day could be any day. Meantime, anybody, like, any questions for me, just keep posting them. I'll try to respond. I think it's done. Yeah. So that's what it looks like. I can show you like a couple of like, it gets into the finance also, but say there is a purchase regression, quick one, a short one, because purchase is much easier. So we have done for a couple of customers where from the sales order, as I said, like, it starts from PCF or the configurator that we're talking about. And similarly, there are customers. So it's again a different process, a different sheet from which the data is being picked. The framework works seamlessly because, as I said, it depends upon how much automation you want. Because for me, what I believe is, from the ERP standpoint, a regression suite is very essential, very, very essential. You can further get and regularize and get into the details of it, like say we have those frameworks. I think last session Raj spoke about this thing where you can do the CI/CD part of it, where as and when the development happens, the porting also happens on the testing suite, and the test happens automatically. So that part can also be executed. So you don't need to actually invest your time in the admin side of it. It can be seamlessly done. So for us, what we'd like, as I said, like testing has been there. It's not something new. Having said that, we are bringing in our expertise, because Silotec, as a part of this thing, we have done a lot of implementations. We do a lot of maintenance services, a lot of administration, system administration activities that we do across for a lot of global clients. So we brought in that expertise, and then we invested on this one. And I see like Infor doesn't have a tool or a protocol, something similar to this one, where it's quick and it's very easy, and once deployed, like you can be 100% foolproof, and leave the system with make it more mature and leave the system with more confidence. So in this process, say for example, if the patch comes in somewhere when you're printing the purchase order, and or maybe when you're releasing the purchase order to warehouse, a new patch comes in. Because of that reason, a new warning comes over, or maybe some error goes in. So this thing fails. The moment it fails, in last session we saw like with Selenium, we have integrated right now with LU reports. But these LU reports, they're very amazing. They're self-sufficient, where they provide all the required information, like where exactly it failed, along with the evidence, like which screen, what message or what error came in, which we were not able to process because this is automated, right? So, and as we talk about the change management, yes, as and when you're preparing for the patch, or as and when you're bringing in a new development in the process. So this is where the interesting part comes in, where we talk about the change management, where they have to be assured that it doesn't break anything in the production. So the test environment where actually this testing automation should work, should perform, is something specific to something specific to it should be a alike system alike to the production, right? So this is what I was talking about. Quickly, I'll just jump over. There are some sessions on the EAM as well, but what I'll do is, okay, so this is where it is. Okay, I have a couple of comments. Is this will be suitable for before? Okay, yeah, hi Prabhakar. Prerequisite 10.4 onwards, it doesn't work before 10.4, because 10.4, prior to that, there are a couple of challenges when it comes to the a couple of challenges in identifying. Selenium doesn't work. You have to go with the other tools which we have done to the other customers. The Selenium we were advocating for Selenium is because it's very it's open, and has a very great community available, where we can solve a lot of solutions, a lot of problems. Please share your questions. Yep. So as I said, like irrespective of this thing, I'll say uh, we bring in our testing expertise, and then we identify the framework. So for me, if I say 10.4 onwards, or or if you're into the cloud, Selenium is awesome. But in case if it's told, we are doing for one of the customers on FP7, where Selenium didn't work, we're using UFT framework. So this again, we had to invest on a fresh framework, and the process, as we talked about in the last session, where Rajan and Krishna was there. The process is work on the framework, identify, because your end-to-end process has multiple applications. You need to build a exclusive framework for yourself, and then only we can talk about The framework means like how the maintainability and sustainability of this new application. That's very important because you are investing on this one to bring in the maturity and the confidence, right? So that's how it is. Any questions? Just any part of time, you can just shoot out your email. I'm just leaving the email ID. Will like even if you have a doubt or your question, you can always share. You can always share your queries into this email ID. We will quickly get back because for me, as I said, like this is something new in the info fraternity, and this is something to advocate, and we want to take it further. Irrespective, it doesn't get into the integration. See, as I said, like it's floating on top of the LN on the browser, so it others and it respects all these integrations. Yes. So say for example, I showed you in one of the first sessions. I showed you in one of the first videos where we are talking from LN, we are going into the MES system, right? So the integrations there are happening to ION. So you don't test the ION, you just see that the value flows from one application to the other application. So for me, the thing is, doesn't matter what kind of integration, whether it's ION or using some MuleSoft or you're using some Mobilor, doesn't matter. So it's all about as a functional user. Say I'm a functional tester. For me, doesn't matter. I'm not testing ION. I'm testing the functionality and the business process. So yes, it responds to ION also. Any other questions? Great. Thank you. We will continue these kind of webinars because there are a lot of webinars that will be happening where we will be talking more about this digital transformation, the new techniques, new ways. And I'll say, like, see, being a digital, if you want to build a career in your digital transformation, to be very frank, I'll say there's never a lost opportunity. You can always start anytime. So in this process, there are a lot of technologies that one should be aware of, a lot of frameworks that you should be aware of, a lot of functionalities you should be aware of, and cloud, obviously, it's you have to be. So we will be conducting these kind of webinars weekly where we'll try to share as much as possible what we know, because for me, every customer is a new customer, every customer is a unique customer, and they need a lot of like a lot of homework needs to be done before you approach to that, because otherwise you'll just leave the transformation in between and you don't know where to go. So I'll say, like, just looking at joining hands. If you have any question or if you have any query, feel free to email to marcom@silotec.com. We'll respond back. I think we are good, and with this, I'm looking at ending the stream. And if you have any questions, please do share. And thanks for your responses, and see you in the next